listening to Journey Back, the podcast about past life regressions, ghosts, and much more with your host, Cliff Aguirre.
I'm Cliff Aguirre, your host. What is Journey Back? Journey Back is actually the title of a book I wrote about past life regression, and I felt that this would be the perfect title for a podcast on the subject of past lives, ghosts, and other realities and similar subjects. Let me tell you a little bit about Journey Back. I'm a hypnotist, and I have my own practice where I help clients with not only smoking cessation, healthy eating, but also for traumas, anxiety, and depression, many more. Now, I didn't intend to include past life regression as part of my hypnosis practice. One day, I had a client come to me who was very depressed, and she actually said that she had no purpose in living when she arrived at the session. So I suggested that under hypnosis, we could go back and discover where her depression originated. I put her into hypnosis, and I told her to go back to where depression began. I expected her to say that she was a 13-year-old girl in this life and talk about all the problems that she had at that time that created the depression. Instead, she starts saying that she is back in the 1860s, her husband is fighting in the Civil War for the South, and she has a baby. She puts the baby down in the crib inside the house where they lived, and then she went outside to work on the garden. When she was done working on the garden, she went back to get the baby, and the house was on fire. The baby died, and she was so upset with herself that she committed suicide. As she was telling me this story, my mouth dropped open, as this was not what I expected her to say. I brought her out of hypnosis, and she asked if that was real. I told her that I didn't know. She said that she could feel it, she could hear it, and she could see it. A month later, I saw her again, and her head was held high, and she had this positive glow about her. She told me that her whole outlook on life had changed simply because of that one session. A little over a year later, she had gotten married and was having a baby. After the session, I had 2 more clients go to a past life. Still, that was not my intention for the session. And after my other clients went into past life regressions, I talked to a friend of mine who was a professional writer, and he suggested that I should write a book about these regressions. I liked the idea, but I told him that I could not use my clients because of privacy. He suggested that I look for volunteers. I didn't know where I would find volunteers, but one day a woman by the name of Joan came to a business networking group that I belonged to. She was a medium, and she was just there as a substitute for someone else who was a member. So I decided to talk to her about what I was planning on doing. She said that she held a women's group once a month, and just the other day they were talking about wanting to do past life regressions, but they couldn't find anybody, and the one person they did talk to was too expensive. So I suggested to her that maybe her group could volunteer for my book, and I could do the regressions for free. And after that, my emails lit up, my phone started ringing, and I got 27 volunteers for my book. And that's how I came about to write Journey Back. In this podcast, I hope to explore and talk about all the topics relating to past lives, ghosts, and our continued existence after death. And I'll also be inviting special guests to talk about the subject with me. And I also plan on sharing some of the actual audio recordings from the sessions with the 27 volunteers. And make sure to subscribe to the Journey Back podcast so you won't miss other interesting guests and stories. And spread the word so others can join the experience. And you can buy my book, Journey Back, The Amazing Memories of Individuals, or any of my other books at Amazon.com or at cliffbooksmusic.com. I'm also available for lectures, seminars, and webinars on the subject of hypnosis, past life regressions, and more. You can contact me at journeybackpodcast@gmail.com. Also, go to mindbalancehypnosis.com for more information about hypnosis and my practice. So thank you for listening.